Alrighty, it's time for another retrospective segment. As I mentioned when I first did this for the best of 2008, like nearly 4 months ago, I mentioned that it's going to be basically about whatever I feel like looking back and reflecting upon. Um, since, as you may know if you watched this week's video blog, I picked up Pokemon Platinum. And that kind of brings me back to this sort of Pokemon franchise that I want to kind of look back upon. I don't own Diamond or Pearl, so this is actually the first fourth generation Pokemon game that I've actually purchased finally. So I want to kind of look back on from the beginning to now and my trip in getting to where I am now. I can't remember exactly when the year-wise when I got into Pokemon, but I remember it was before Game Boy Color came out, and I got a Game Boy Pocket, and alongside that, I got Pokemon Red. This game still works. I played it not too long ago, maybe a year or two ago. I treasure this. So, with the first generation of Pokemon handheld games, it was awesome. I never got Blue, but when Yellow came out, I did get that. And part of this reflective kind of segment that I'm doing, I kind of want to talk about why I only have the games that I have now, as opposed to the games that I had when they first came out. For instance, I still have Red, like I said, but I don't have Yellow. When I was in like 6th grade, Yellow simply quit working on me, and I don't quite remember what happened to it. But that whole first generation, Red, Blue, and Yellow, and even though Green was never released here in the States until Leaf Green came out, the first generation games were a lot of fun, and I still enjoy them. And I think, despite everything, they remain to be the absolute best of the series. But maybe not necessarily my favorite generation. Although, I do like almost everything about this game. Moving on. Then came the second generation. Silver, Gold, and then Crystal. Which, we see a lot of this now. 2 games come out, Gold, Silver, Ruby, Sapphire, Diamond, Pearl, and then a third game comes out that kind of mixes the two together. So, I have Crystal. And I did at one point in time have both Silver and Gold. In fact, Silver was my first game, and then I got Gold, then Crystal. And in fact, up until the point before Crystal came out, I still used my Game Boy Pocket. But when the Game Boy Advance came out, I bought Crystal alongside it, and I could finally play the second generation games in color. And that was a new turning point. I was like in junior high or something like that. I don't really remember, and I don't care. But there's some tragic story behind why I only have Crystal as opposed to what happened to Silver and Gold. Silver was probably my favorite game of the series when it came out, and I had a lot of favorite Pokemon and a good team, solid team. And a friend of mine on like the 6th grade like field trip in elementary school wanted to borrow it. So I was like, yeah, sure, just let me transfer over my Pokemon to Gold, because I had gotten that for Christmas. And I did that, and I let him borrow it. So for about a year, I didn't have my Silver. So, whatever. Crystal came out. I transferred Gold Pokemon to Crystal. And then I ended up selling my Gold to a friend of mine's little brother. And then in junior high, I tried to get Silver back from my friend, but he couldn't find it. I'm like, well, no big deal, whatever, moving on. Um, I never got it back, and sadly, his house burnt down. And it is a tragic event that his house burnt down, and it's just as tragic that he still had my silver. So that game is nothing. It ceases to exist today. But at least I got my Pokemon over to Crystal, and I haven't started a new game in ages, and it's wonderful. After I was done with Crystal, I kind of, stepped away from the Pokemon scene for a while, and then Sapphire and Ruby came out for the Game Boy Advance. This is the first Game Boy Advance for the third generation Pokemon. And I was not immediately a fan of the Pokemon design. In my opinion, the 252 Pokemon or so that are from the first and second generation combined are the best looking Pokemon I have ever seen. Although I kind of got used to the concept and the art of the Pokemon in Sapphire, it didn't match the artistic nature of Pokemon in my opinion. But as a game, it was solid. I still enjoyed it, and I still play it every now and again, and I still try to strive to get the best Pokemon team I can get. But I never bought Ruby. I didn't buy Emerald. I didn't get Fire Red or Leaf Green or anything like that. Although my younger brother has those games. To me, after Sapphire, I kind of lost interest altogether in Pokemon. I didn't play it anymore. I moved on. Whatever you want to say, what have you. But anyways, moving on. My brother got Diamond. He got Pearl. He loves them. Personally, I think the Pokemon look too much like realistic animals. Some of them do, and as such, I feel that now that there's over 400 of them, I just think that the developers and the designers are just running out of ideas for Pokemon. But of course, I haven't played Diamond or Pearl. I've seen it being played, and well, I'll just have to wait until I play Platinum to kind of see if it changes my views on things. But more than likely, I'm on the edge. I mean, this is kind of like this game's like a make or break point for Pokemon. I mean, it's come a long way. I mean, the DS allows for so much more. They've been getting more advanced. They've added so many new features, so many new ideas and things, and I can't wait to start playing this. I know it's going to suck up a lot of time, and I'm probably going to try to enjoy it as best I can, especially now that I've got the strategy guide for it, which, as if you've seen my weekly blog for this week, it's like a phone book. It's 600 some odd pages. So this game appears to have a lot of stuff for it, going for it. But anyways, kind of like in retrospect and reminiscing on the Pokemon series, it's been part of my childhood, and even though I'm, getting older, in my 20s, I will probably continue to be interested in the Pokemon games, as RPGs fundamentally they're amazing. So what if they're geared towards younger children? Hardcore gamers and RPG fanatics would love these games, and I plan on reviewing Pokemon Platinum, and I plan on always having Red, Crystal, and Sapphire, and I hope that as long as Platinum was to my satisfaction, I would be interested to see what the 5th generation of Pokemon will be. It's a franchise still going strong, and until we see what's next to come from it, the only thing I can do is play and reflect. So that's all I have for you guys. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next in my next retrospective. It could be months away. Till then, later.